Hello everyone, I'm Andy.
And I'm Mark.
And this is Strange Stuff Podcast.
I hope it's all working today after the last week's ridiculous shenanigans.
I don't know what went on because it stayed ridiculous. Do you know what? After we finished recording, I went through the processing and all the rest of it and tried to edit, and it was coming up with a black screen.
Oh, God.
Everything was just gone. And in the end, I walked away from it. I watched a movie on Netflix, and I came back to it, and it was all there.
Good.
It was a thing with Riverside. They obviously had some kind of maintenance.
I mean, I don't think this is interesting for our listeners, but did I get a message that our podcasts only stay on there for 3 months?
No, that's the old Buzzsprout one.
All right.
They're being deleted.
Why?
Because I'm not paying for it anymore.
Oh, I see. So what do you mean? So all of that library of work disappears?
Well, it disappears from Buzzsprout.
Where does it go?
It's already in Riverside.
Our whole library of work is in, I call it library as if it's meaningful reference material.
Our entire catalogue still exists.
Good.
Plus, I also have hard copy of everything we've ever recorded.
Excellent. Very good.
So when Spotify do get in touch and want to buy our catalogue, I can just hand over the whole disc, accept the 80 million quid, and pretend that they weren't really interested when you asked me how the meeting went.
Yes, exactly. How did it go with Google, by the way, Andy? Not interested.
I told them to suck it.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
Now, I have to say, I don't know why, but every time we record, the very same day or the very next day, Trump does something mega.
There has been a slight shift in attitude for sure.
Yes, but the thing is, the attitude came immediately we stopped recording.
Oh, was it?
That's
that
when
poor
he
fellow
said,
Levitt, when he got shot.
That's when he said, "Oh, by the way, you might pretend you're in NATO, but we were the only ones who were on the front line in Afghanistan."
Oh, I see. No, I thought we'd covered that last week.
No, we didn't. That was just after we finished recording.
You can't imagine how insulting that is on every level.
For every country in Europe.
Yes. I mean, I've got family one of which did 4 tours of duty in Afghanistan, and him just discounting it to, they were hiding in the background is
coming from a draft-dodging coward.
Yes, yeah.
But
luckily, it wasn't an apology because he apologised to the UK, the brave men, but it wasn't really an apology. And what about all of the other all of the other countries, the Canadians, the Danes, the Germans? Actually, German wasn't involved, I don't think. But anyway, whatever.
Someone told, obviously he was shouted at in private.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I ain't apologising. But I'll pretend.
The other thing that I thought you were going to talk about was his somewhat backtracking from ICE activities in Minnesota.
Oh, the nurse guy.
Yeah, Levitt. I mean, I can't understand. There's literally multiple angles of videos of him being shot 10 times.
He was reaching for a gun.
He wasn't. He had his hands literally. There were 6 people sitting on top of him. But
you will not believe your eyes.
No.
You will believe what you're told.
Yeah. But I don't know if you also saw. I don't know if it was at the same time or a couple of days later. Who was that little fellow, Harovitz or something, who was the head of ICE? marching through Minnesota. I think it's Minnesota. I hope I've got it right.
Hasn't he been shifted to another district?
He's now been moved, but he was walking around and he literally looked like an SS officer.
Yes, with his leather overcoat and
with
everything.
His great trench coat and his little metal. They look like SS emblems on his collar.
I mean, he'd clearly just come from the Hugo Boss shop.
It was just. Anyway, he's gone, and I can't believe this gnome woman is going to last. But you never know. But anyway, I mean, at least they're reacting.
Barbie, is that?
What?
Cowboy Barbie.
Cowboy Barbie, yes.
Yeah.
Cowboy Barbie.
Fucking hell, she's a joke.
But I still.
Sorry, let's get off this because we spend way too much time.
You're right. And, I've got an idea. Sorry, I've got an idea, and we can get other feedback from listeners.
Go on.
If you're going to the extent of trawling your reservoir of friends to make promotional videos for us, wouldn't it be fun for you to? Wouldn't it have been interesting if she was a medieval harlot who was presenting the introduction? She didn't look medieval.
Well, do you know, I made a promotional video on a free 15-second window that you had. Unless you actually pay for this stuff, you don't have that much control. Wait and see the video for this one, motherfucker. It's going to blow your socks off.
What do you mean? It's going to be an actual medieval harlot? Oh no, that would be for last week. I don't even know what the subject matter is.
Today's video will be released today, as in real time today.
Why?
Because I've already recorded it. I'm just tweaking now.
So you mean I've been replaced? You've been replaced.
You have been replaced. You wait until you see the hot fox that's now the new Mark.
What is she called? Michelle?
69.
Well, I know for a fact that to share airtime with you for an hour a week, they're definitely going to have to be something virtual about the situation, because never a real woman would want to share.
This chick is real. I defy you to point out anything about today's chick that isn't real. Anyway, talking of real chicks, I have to bring this up because it's been on the front page of the Current Bun every day. You know, since the last time we recorded and today.
Victoria Beckham.
Katie Price.
Katie Price?
Yeah, she used to be...
I know.
Well, since we last recorded, she got divorced or she broke off the engagement with her latest fiancé, JJ. She met a new guy, got engaged, and married him. And they've got matching tattoos with her name and his name on their hands. And they're in Dubai as we speak. And he's already been unmasked as a serial con man, grifter. The story is, you could not make it up.
You know, I just feel sadness.
If they are making it up for joint publicity, or if she has finally been grifted like she's been grifting blokes for years.
No, but, you know, that is such a sad story. I mean, she was a product of actually, hang on a second. She was popular when I was working in the 80s and 90s.
You probably whacked off to her in the toilets on the
I definitely didn't. Unfortunately, that is the last. She doesn't fulfill my female fantasies in any regard. I just feel sorry for her.
She used to, before she went under the surgeon's knife, she was actually rather lovely.
Yeah, but, you know, the problem is that when people who are pretty, let's say she was pretty and attractive.
Yeah, I know you're not into attractive because you're upper middle class. You like people who look like mummy, later.
It's got nothing. Let me finish my point. When you have people who are pretty and attractive who go under the knife, I automatically feel that they must have mental health issues.
Well, this is a problem, isn't it? Unfortunately, most people who go under the knife, for me, it's a major turn-off because I don't like my own baggage. I don't want to take on your baggage. And if you're bringing that extra baggage of body dysmorphia and hating everything about yourself, we're not going to last very long at all. I can't spend the rest of my life trying to reassure you that you look normal.
That is not normal.
No, that's actually a very attractive shot of her. There's a lot worse than that out there. She looks monstrous now.
You know, it's, as I say, it's just sad. So she's now married someone anyway who is a grifter.
Yeah.
But I think she just declared bankruptcy. And
also, he has been found on an escort site offering his services for £1,000 a night. They haven't actually clarified if it's for women, men, or both.
Mm-hmm.
So he might be gay for pay as well, which is
£1,000. Is that the going rate? I should start something like that as a little bit of a sideline. £1,000.
I'm not sure you qualify. Yeah, but I mean, he is. I mean, younger and fitter, and actually, you know, I guess from a woman's point of view, quite hunky.
All right. Good luck to them both. It is a sacrament of marriage that should be taken seriously.
And it's
so
only
good
her
luck
fourth.
to them.
It's only her fourth marriage, so fourth time's the charm.
Funnily enough, I think she married someone from the city. I think one of her husbands was a dealer, broker of some description.
Well, definitely a dealer. Definitely broke by the time she'd finished with him. No, she married Peter Andre.
Yeah, but he was an influencer, wasn't he? He was a star, a singer.
He was a one-hit wonder.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Is it?
Well,
I mean, he made
better than a no-hit.
What
would you prefer, no hits or one hit?
Well, I've had no hits, but I've managed to avoid that cesspit that is Katie Price's pants.
A little unkind. I thought you were going to talk about Victoria Beckham because
no one cares about their family drama.
Oh well, I thought they were in the news because of who's the son, Devlin? No,
Boston.
No, I can't remember who.
The Bronx.
Who?
Brooklyn.
Who got upset? Apparently, I think it was at his wedding.
Yeah, because his mum danced with him instead of his wife.
That was the story, was it?
Why are you dancing with me? You ain't my wife, innit? Yeah, I am. I'm better than your wife. I'm the most beautiful girl in the room, innit?
I mean, I did feel sorry for what's his name? Who's the Beckham? What is his first name? David Beckham. David? You know, his voice, poor chap. Because he used to speak like that. He doesn't anymore, but he used to speak like that. Little Dave.
I've had my vocal cords loosened, didn't I? I've had some Botox injected in my vocal cords, so now I speak a bit loud, bit deeper, like that.
Sir David. He's done well, hasn't he? He was a footballer and he's worth however much money if that's a measure of success.
Sir David, I mean, what does that even mean anymore? Once they gave it to Lenny Henry, it was game over for the fucking peerage.
What was wrong with giving it to Lenny Henry?
Oh, please. For what? Services to comedy? For what? He never made anyone laugh.
He was quite good in his day.
He was a complete wanker. And he's still, in fact, he's a bigger wanker today than he ever has been. Did you see he was demanding that the British government pay reparations of, I think it was 1 trillion of your British pounds to the ancestors, or not the ancestors.
Slave ancestors.
Yeah. 1 trillion of your pounds to every black person in the country.
Sounds perfectly reasonable.
Of course it is, because, I mean, when I think back to all the slaves I owned, I think it's only right that I should have to pay for their discomfort. Fuck you, Lenny Henry.
I'll tell you, I walked into a movie the other day. You said you watched a movie on Netflix. So did I. One with Kate Winslet called Lee. Have you seen that?
I fell asleep to that the other day. Boring as hell.
Well, it's funny. There was a lot of criticism. The pacing was not good. I don't like these movies where everything's fine until they start visiting Auschwitz. I find that so distressing. Yeah, but anyway, it was it was a mildly good story. Never heard of her. So she did well.
What, Kate Winslet? She's quite famous.
No, I've never heard of Lee. Oh God, I've already forgotten her name. For God's sake, yeah, Lee Wilson. Lee Winston.
She was pretty much unknown until after her death.
What was her surname? Please tell me.
I can't remember.
It began with a W.
Lee Wenger.
Anyway, so that was quite interesting. So we've talked about Trump. We've talked about what's on TV. I'm depressed because I've finished my Slow Horses. All the seasons have gone. It's minus 15. I've had my hair
cut. It's pretty cold here as well.
What have you got up there? Minus 20?
I don't know, but I did walk to the shops this morning and it was quite brisk.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I bought a new TV.
You did?
After 15 years, I thought it was time to buy a new TV.
What size?
Well, this has been a bit of my old TV, which I thought was perfectly adequate, was 42 inches, as it turned out. Well, anyway, everybody, the kids were saying, you need a bigger TV, Dad.
55 minimum.
Ilva was saying, you need a bigger TV. So I ended up buying a 55-inch TV.
Yeah, that's what I've got, 55, and it's the right size for this room, which is probably not far off the
my lounge.
Your lounge, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so I installed this thing, and I thought, shit, this is it dominates the room.
No,
anyway, it's 3 or 4 days in, and I'm sort of starting to get used to it. But it is very good that I had this little box on the side, this Apple thing.
Yeah.
On the side of the TV. So I had to switch 3 things on just to watch TV. And now I just press a button and I say, hey, Google, show me the latest episode of Raiders of the Lost Ark or something. And it all comes up.
See, you're finally, I mean, I can turn my lights on and off, and I have been able to.
I know.
But 12 years.
Can you turn your TV on by voice?
Of course.
No. You
Alexa,
don't.
Turn on the TV.
Okay.
Look behind me.
Oh my God, you can as well.
Alexa, turn off the TV.
Okay.
So Alexa is who?
One of my many girlfriends.
No, but which brand?
Arabella, 69. Part of my harem.
Of virtual friends.
They're not virtual, they're real.
Well, they might as well be real, actually. I mean, what is the difference? If you can have a decent conversation with one of them, can you?
That's not the kind of AI that I'm using. They basically do what I tell them, which is even better.
But how long is it before you can have, like a reasonable conversation with someone?
I can do that with another program I have by a company called Guile, where I have an AI assistant, and that's been going now for must be nearly 10 years.
What?
Yeah, and you've seen it, and she pops up on the side of my screen, and I can talk to her. Very limited conversation. They stopped development quite a while ago, but you can ask it to tell you the weather, put the news on the computer.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually sitting down and saying, what's your view of what's going on in America, and they'll actually have an opinion.
But yeah, I mean, you can do that with ChatGPT.
Yeah, but you can type in a thing, but can you actually have a conversation?
You can talk to ChatGPT.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great. Well, I don't know. Is it great for, old people who are isolated that they can literally have a sort of a virtual conversation with someone?
Okay, no, I'm not that old.
No, but you know what I mean? I mean, it might have some positives.
Well, it is and it isn't, because, the AI is only as intelligent as it's allowed to be and as it's programmed to be, because at the end of the day, it's still under the control and it's given bias by its inputs. So it doesn't really have its own opinion.
No, but that's why I was asking an opinion. At what stage in the future, and it can't be that far off, that they can certainly express an opinion, but it might be obviously heavily driven by the people pressing the buttons on the other side initially.
Well, it would be a division of the sum of its inputs.
But bearing in mind, here's a question for you. You do gaming and things, and on the side, apparently, you have these conversations going on. You downloaded it for me, whatever it's called, Davos or
Discord.
Davos
is the other thing that you were attending last week.
Oh, that's right. So you're having a conversation with those people. It wouldn't be would it be easy to determine those that are AI-generated bots who are trying to sell you something and actual people?
No, you can't. You don't have bots in Discord because
no, but you could do.
You're invited.
All I'm saying, you could do, and you wouldn't at this stage with technology as it is. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference in my mind.
Yeah, you would.
Do you think
when you're talking over Discord, the conversation swaps and changes so much that AI would not be able to keep up.
Oh, I see. So it's still beyond.
Yeah, somebody would be talking about, okay, you guys sneak round to the right, I'm going to go round to the left, and so and so and so and so go up the middle, and then someone else will say, oh, did you see that thing on Netflix last night? And that's it. Conversation over for the AI. Because
I see.
It doesn't know which way it's going to go.
So you don't think we're at the stage where they'll just be, AI would be able to track that conversation?
I don't think it would fool a human as yet.
All right. No. Okay, that's interesting. All right. No, because I was going to say, what's the difference? At the end of the day, if you're actually interacting, even if it's with a virtual person, it's better than not interacting at all. At least it keeps your brain active. As a human, my brain active.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you're filling your receptors with invalid or incorrect information as well.
There's obviously a heavy risk that you're going to be influenced in some way to buy a particular product or to, Yeah,
if you say, what do you think of the State of the Union? And your AI goes, well, as I sit here eating my Heinz beans on toast.
Yes, exactly. Beware. This conversation may contain elements of product placement. I watched quite a good movie last night.
Oh, yeah?
Ophelia. 2 years. It was quite good. Mildly entertaining. A rewriting of Hamlet through Ophelia's eyes.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen it.
It was, All right. Right, come on. I've told you about my what did I say I'd bought? A new TV.
And a snow slinger.
Yeah, that was the week before. That was out of necessity. And, of course, it sat there for the last 2 weeks doing absolutely nothing. But it's just one of those things. As
you know, or as you've gathered, I invested this morning in a new program to use for our podcast.
So you have?
Well, of course, yeah. That's why I was working away on it when you messaged me earlier.
All right, so I need to, because I said I'm happy to put money into that if it helps you.
Well, it will be added to next month's bill, but
all right,
this month would also, if you want to send me another 100.
Yes. 100. So hang on a second. So what do we now have access to?
We have access
to half an hour of virtual avatar action.
I'm not entirely sure. I can make
You said you were going to do some research,
yes,
you idiot.
But the research was a bit confusing. Oh. I can make videos up to 30 minutes long now, and apparently unlimited. But at the same time, the advert for today's promo, which I made before we started recording, when I finished and generated the finished result, it told... What the fuck are you doing, cat? It told me that I'd used now 49 seconds, which left me... or 42 seconds, which left me 9 minutes and 8 seconds or something.
All right, well, that's enough for, that's 10 minutes a month. That's fine.
Yeah, but I hope it's more than that, because, you know, I'd like to make a promo for every episode, and if possible, the odd one for the murdery bits as well.
And so the avatar, do you actually... You don't draw anything, do you? Just say, I want a, you know, average length brunette Asian looking girl.
I can't tell you the secrets to my creations.
So it's literally that simple, is it, Andy?
No, you'll be amazed at today's avatar. You're going to be so impressed. Honestly, you're going to be impressed.
All right, good.
Anyway,
very good.
Talking of today's avatar... or as I like to say, my girlfriend. We're going to start our story today. We're going to talk about UFOs.
Hang on a second. Sorry, I'm a bit worried. Oh, no, we're okay. It said trying to reconnect. UFOs.
Yes.
They're not called UFOs anymore. You're already behind the curve.
We're going to talk about UAPs.
Exactly.
So... let's start.
Unidentified aerial projections. Phenomenon. Phenomenon. No.
Isn't
no phenomenon.
Let me start. No, actually, let's start with a different. I've got a few stories. So.
Oh, it's not one of these cheap, shallow research where you just read a line from something.
No, we're going to stay in the UK, and this is why I've got a couple of stories.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Sorry to interrupt. I thought we were going to do Robin's girlfriend's UFO interaction.
I'll talk about that after.
For God's sake, we don't need to go to England. We got one on your doorstep.
I'll talk about that after. That's still on the cards. I still have work to do.
What, you know, you're not paying her for a license to tell her story or something. She's not expecting some...
No, it's just work. I mean, there's a lot of work involved. On the 6th of June, 1980, a 56-year-old coal miner by the name of Zygmunt Adamski left his home in Tingley, West Yorkshire.
He didn't sound like he was going to come from Yorkshire, actually.
To do some shopping. But the thing is, he never returned. On the 9th of June, 3 days later, his body was found on the top of a 10-foot-high pile of coal in the town of Todmorden, 20 miles away from his house. Sent to investigate, local Bobby, Alan Godfrey, discovered that while Adamski was wearing a suit, his shirt, wallet and his watch were all missing. No, not unusual if that happened in London.
I was going to say, so far, nothing unusual at all.
But Adamski's hair had been cropped in what PC Godfrey described as a roughly cut manner, and he only had 1 day's growth of beard, despite being missing for 3 days. Now, the young policeman also reported that Adamski had mysterious burns on his neck, his head, and his shoulders.
I thought your hair carried on growing after you died.
Your nails do. I'm not sure about your hair. The coroner James Turnbull, confirmed that some of the burns had been treated with a strange ointment that could not be identified by forensic scientists.
So it wasn't butter?
Can't believe it's not butter, but it wasn't.
What was that? I remember that. It's only English listeners who would know what that was.
Yeah. So Godfrey later said that Adamski also looked like he'd been frightened to death. I've been in West Yorkshire, and some of them lasses are a bit scary, I have to tell you. They have some beauty.
Dear Andy.
Don't get me wrong. Now, speaking to reporters, PC Godfrey said that in his opinion, there was a definite possibility that Adamski had been abducted by aliens.
What made him jump to that conclusion? This fellow Godfrey needs a bit of police training in my mind.
I'm open-minded, he said. I can't rule it out. Now, the true cause of the Lofthouse colliery worker's death remains a mystery up to this day. One wild theory that did the rounds was that at the time, Adamski had been killed by the KGB because of that name.
Why would they kill a mine worker?
He was definitely a double agent.
I don't know what country it can be. Polish.
What's he doing up here? He's got no business being in Halifax.
No, KGB, they would have a Russian accent, not a Yorkshire
accent. I'm talking about the locals gossiping about the KGB.
Oh, I see.
Another one suggested that he'd been struck by ball lightning.
Maybe.
Not any old lightning, mind. Which caused him to wander off confused and eventually die at the top of this coal pile. To many people, though, there was only one explanation. Adamski definitely encountered alien beings on his way to the shops.
So when you say the only conclusion to a group of flat earthers was that he'd been abducted by aliens.
Well, give me another example of a reasonable theory. I mean, you've got a policeman saying it's definitely aliens. You've got the locals saying it's definitely alien. I'm going with the aliens.
Bet you are.
5 months after the grisly discovery of Adamski's body, Todmorden once again found itself at the centre of media attention.
Mm-hmm.
This time, it was none other than our favourite PC, Godfrey, who was in the eye of the storm.
Oh dear.
He was sent out at 5 a.m. to deal with a call about escaped cattle on a housing estate. He's a man of many talents, is our Godfrey.
Clearly.
Godfrey was, according to his own account, stopped dead in his tracks by what he claimed was an unidentified flying object.
Mm-hmm.
Godfrey said the object was a bright light in the sky, a rotating diamond-shaped vessel 20 feet high and 14 feet wide. Not 15, 14 feet wide.
It's an odd shape, but what sort of diamond is that if it's 20 feet high and 14 feet across?
Well, it's 14 feet across in the wide bit.
Yeah, and then 20 feet high in the tall bit.
Yeah.
How many diamonds have you? Diamonds are the opposite. They're 20 feet wide and 14 feet high. He doesn't even know what a diamond looks like, this chap Godfrey. He's not very reliable, is he?
Well, he's from West Yorkshire. He's never seen diamond except on James Bond when they were forever. Lots of bloody diamond then.
There's the story.
Well, he made a quick sketch of this object in his notebook because...
I bet he did. And you're about to show us a copy of his notebook, aren't you? Because you do a lot of research.
And then he grabbed his police radio to call in the incident, but the lion were dead. Suddenly, it disappeared in a bright flash, and Godfrey found himself sitting in his car 30 yards, he's gone pirate, down the road. Now, looking at his watch, the policeman was surprised to see it was 25 minutes later than it had been just moments before. Weirder still, his boot was split open and an itchy mark had appeared on one of his feet.
Oh, well, that's all right, because I thought you were going to say he had a bit of a strange pain in his arse.
No. Baffled...
You just had an itchy foot.
Baffled, Godfrey returned to where he had seen the light, and he discovered that the road where his car had been was completely dry, despite the fact that it had recently been raining. Getting out to investigate the area, he found that the cows he'd been looking for were now in a park next to the road, but they hadn't been there before he saw the strange object in the sky. So what on earth was going on?
So we've got a spaceship full of cow-herding aliens. This is quite an unusual angle to the story.
Rustlers.
Yeah, they're alien cow rustlers.
Intergalactic rustlers. And when he finally managed to report his strange encounter, Godfrey was met with skepticism.
No.
And even ridicule.
No. Why?
On the advice of a solicitor friend, he decided to see a hypnotist to get to the bottom of what he'd witnessed.
Yeah, sensible.
And under hypnosis, Godfrey recalled that he'd been blinded by the light. Blinded by the light.
All right.
And he passed out. He told the hypnotist that when he awoke, he was in a strange room being examined by several little creatures and a tall humanoid figure with a beard. Again, his claims were met with raised eyebrows and a little bit of derision. Several weeks after Godfrey's account was leaked to the newspapers and became an international news story, he was called into inspector's office.
Oh dear, this is not good for Godfrey.
No. There sat a man in a dark suit and tie who introduced himself as the man from the ministry.
He didn't have a straitjacket in his hand, did he?
No, but I'm guessing he had a leather folder. Oh, it says here. He had with him a file.
Leather folder.
A leather file containing Godfrey's drawing of the strange craft. Godfrey wasn't allowed to see the rest of the file, but he assumed it also contained his account of the evening's event, plus his report on the mysterious death of Zygmunt Adamski. The man told Godfrey that he was to swear on the Official Secrets Act that he would not talk to anyone about what he'd seen, and Godfrey reluctantly agreed. The young policeman then encountered the man on several occasions over the next few days, and it was clear that he was being followed. Mm-hmm. Eventually, Godfrey confronted the man in his local pub, telling him to clear off. The man disappeared and was never seen again.
He's a very obedient alien investigator, isn't he, this chap? He just goes away.
Well, he's a man in black, I'm guessing.
Exactly.
But his cover was blown. He was standing, probably sipping on a pint of Guinness, two people down from Godfrey, because the local pub in a little hamlet wouldn't be very big.
They can't do any more Men in Black, can they? Because of, what's his name? Peter Wilson.
Who was Will Smith, of course.
Will Smith, not Peter Wilson.
By Hollywood.
Is he still out in the cold?
I mean, honestly, what a walking train wreck of a man. Who would employ him? Who would go and see him?
Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince.
Isn't that what? That's where he made his stardom.
Yeah. So anyway, on to more important matters. Who was this mysterious man? Was he an MI5 agent sent to warn him off? That's what Godfrey believed, but another theory is that the stranger was actually from the West Yorkshire police, sent to warn Godfrey off from speaking to the press in an attempt to not draw any more attention to the police force, because they were already getting a lot of considerably bad publicity over the Yorkshire Ripper case at the time.
Yeah, you're right. What was his name?
Peter Sutcliffe.
Peter Sutcliffe, that's right.
Now, despite it later transpiring that several other police officers and a bus driver had seen strange lights on the same morning that Godfrey's claims were seen as an embarrassment to the force, he was eventually transferred to Wakefield, and an attempt was even made to have him sectioned.
Godfrey was transferred to Wakefield Prison?
No, Wakefield, the town.
Oh, because isn't it? Yeah, I thought, what the poor fellow done? Isn't there a prison in Wakefield?
I don't know. You would know, obviously know more than me, because
yeah, I think I had some friends there.
Yeah. How strange. Godfrey later claimed that he was hounded out of the police for refusing to give up on his story. He also talked of the negative impact that the incident had on his family. I wish I'd never seen the UFO, particularly because of the effects on my children, he was later to reflect. It's not easy having a policeman as a father, but when he's a policeman for a UFO, it's even worse.
But hang on a second. So we're doing a story about UFOs, and all you've said is that it was a bright light shaped like a diamond that actually wasn't shaped like a diamond, and that was it.
No, he got taken, didn't he? 25
and
minutes.
this tall humanoid figure and a lot of other little alien creatures.
With a beard. Don't forget the beard. He was probed, man. That takes something from you.
I was at least hoping for some sort of utility belt.
It's not easy being probed. A mere year after Godfrey's experience, Todmorden local Vicky Dinsdale, I know her, was out walking her dog with her grandfather when they saw a long, thin diamond-shaped object that kept changing colour. Vicky's grandfather, a former sergeant in the army, told the young girl to keep what they saw to themselves, very mindful of the ridicule visited on Godfrey. So,
well, this is just absurd.
What do you mean?
So if you were out walking your dog that you don't own and you saw a UFO...
Oh, you never saw nothing, lass.
You are literally going to say, no, I didn't see a UFO.
No, that's not a UFO. That is nothing. You didn't see nothing.
I mean, of course you're going to say something if you actually saw a UFO.
Would you, though?
Yes,
what
I would.
If the UFO came down and the pointy finger thing came out and said, don't you tell anyone, mate, or you'll get probed proper.
E.T., go home.
So is there an explanation for what happened to Zygmunt Adamski and PC?
What happened to Godfrey? He moved to Wakefield. That was the extent of his... That's like being sent to Coventry, isn't it, if you're a Yorkshireman?
For the numerous incidents that have happened in the 4 decades since. Because despite many people attempting to get to the bottom of this intriguing mystery, I think you'll agree, no one has ever managed to come up with a definitive answer. In the case of Adamski, the state of his clothes, the cropped hair, 1 day of beard growth, and the strange burns still baffle people to this day. As for Godfrey's account, we only have his word to go on, But if he's simply making it up, it's been to his own personal detriment, as he lost both his job and a lot of credibility, becoming a figure of ridicule to many. He also lost his family and his home, and he slid into alcoholism.
Yeah, but at least he got out of Dingley and moved to Wakefield instead.
Yeah, I guess. Despite all this, he still swears that something out of the ordinary happened to him that night. Plus, there's the small matter that he wasn't the only one who reported strange goings-on that very day.
Godfrey might still be alive.
This was a nuts and bolts craft, not a trick of the mind, Godfrey told an audience in Halifax back in 2014.
All right, well, there we go.
I've never seen anything out like it. I would swear on the Bible if it were from someone else, somewhere else. These things have been seen so many times above Todmorden that they call the area UFO Alley.
Todmorden?
Yes.
Have you ever been there?
I've been to Halifax.
Have you? Why?
I had a girlfriend from Halifax.
No.
Yeah.
You had a girlfriend that spoke with a northern accent?
Aye. Fiona. She was lovely.
Is that what she said? Aye, Andy.
Fiona. She was lovely.
You even remember her name, Fiona from Halifax.
4 years.
What?
Yeah, 4 years.
Don't be ridiculous. That's the longest relationship you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
How old were you? Between 10 and 14?
No. I met her while I was in Greece. She was on holiday with her parents.
So she was 12?
Aye, but she had the body of an 8-year-old.
All right. You were together with this girl for 4 years?
Fucking cat just assaulted my camera.
Did you live together?
She moved down to London, yes. Hang on, I've got to reset my camera.
Yeah, it's all cockeyed at the moment.
La la la. There we go.
Do you still speak to her?
We are Facebook friends.
Are you?
She did try and connect with me for years, and I didn't see that she'd sent me a friend request. And then eventually I saw this article about hidden friend requests on Facebook, and I thought, I'll just have a look, followed the instructions, and boom, there she was.
And did you contact her?
Well, I accepted her friend request, and then we had a brief chat, and we just sort of say hello once in a while.
Excellent.
She's married with kids now.
Well, that's not surprising.
Oh, no.
Yeah, quite a few people do.
She was a very stunningly beautiful girl as well.
Really? Yeah, until she met you, and then it all went south.
Well, of course, I ruined her.
Well done, Fiona. All right, so poor old Godfrey, he slipped into alcoholism in Wakefield, did he?
Yeah, so what we're asking now is, did aliens have something to do with the death of a 56-year-old miner and ruin the life of a young police officer in a small Yorkshire market town in 1980?
And the answer is
we'll probably never know for sure. For skeptics, the idea of an abduction is a load of nonsense. For those, though, like the group who meet at the Golden Lion pub in Todmorden once a month to discuss these incidents, as well as their own brushes with UFOs, things aren't quite so black and white. We have to go there.
You're right. If they've been meeting in that pub every month since 1980, good on them.
There must be some great stories being made, thrown around the table.
Oy.
Oh, well, that's the end of the Todmorden story. So now...
What, there's more?
Yes, I've told you we've got a couple of stories. This one is we're probably going to have a quite a little longer episode today. Luckily, we have time.
I might be busy.
You made a joke. I think that's the first time ever in this podcast. So let me start this one with a question. What would you do if you were hiking through the Scottish Highlands, minding your own beeswax, possibly thinking about lunch, when suddenly a giant, silent, diamond-shaped object appeared in the sky above you? Now, it's got no flashing lights, no humming engines. It's just there, hovering, quite menacing, and being just very geometric.
I'd get my phone out and take a picture of it.
Well, if you said panic, congratulations, you're human. If your answer is take a photo, congratulations. You might just be about to ruin several government agencies' weekend.
Oh, no.
And this is the true story of the Calvine UFO photograph. A single image taken in August 1990 that went on to baffle the British MOD for decades. It disappeared into classified archives, spawned rumours of stealth aircraft, secret projects, alien tech, and cover-ups, and then it resurfaced over 30 years later.
Sorry, it was called the cowhide.
It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
That was
the cat.
Sound engineer.
God dear. Was it called cowhide?
No, Calvine. Calvine. I will try and put the photograph up on the screen here for our listeners.
Yeah, you're right. Calvine UFO photo. There's also a funeral home, funnily enough.
I mean, why would you imagine that I'm making this stuff up?
Now that looks like a diamond.
And that is actually the photograph. So, yes.
Oh dear, have you lost your place, Andy?
Yes, because of you and Ronnie, the sound engineer. Where are we? Yes. So then the photograph resurfaced over 30 years later, like it had simply been waiting for the right moment to ruin everybody's certainty about reality. So we're not talking about little green men. We're talking about ambiguity, about what happens when an image refuses to behave, and how sometimes the most unsettling thing isn't what we see, but it's what we can't explain about what we see. So grab yourself a cup of tea or something a little bit stronger, because we are going to rural Scotland in 1990, a time when the Cold War was ending, the X-Files hadn't even started, and the idea of a UFO didn't come with a Reddit thread attached. So the location near Calvine, a tiny hamlet in Perth and Kinross, Scotland, and this isn't a place known for excitement. It's known for sheep, trees, and the kind of silence that makes you question your own thoughts. Two local men, often described as chefs, working at a nearby hotel, decided to go hiking. Normal activity, perfectly innocent, possibly, unless one of them happened to be wearing a kilt.
Oh, I see. Brokeback Mountain.
Aye, Brokeback Mountain, baby. No alien hunting equipment reported, no tinfoil hats, just two guys enjoying the outdoors.
What do you mean? Hang on a second. Is there UFO hunting gear? Maybe I should get some.
Yeah, of course. You know Robbie Williams, when he first had his first mental breakdown from cocaine, he bought himself an RV and he lived just driving around Las Vegas to the known UFO sites, just alien watching. Did it for months, like 9 months or something.
What, our Robbie?
Yeah, I would have gone with him. That would have been the best 9 months of my life. I would have had him back on that gear in no time as well. Come on, Rob. Let's just get an ounce, mate. He wouldn't have 80 million quid in the bank if he'd have met me, I tell you that.
Is that how much? That doesn't sound much for Robbie Williams. He's a bit of a star, isn't he?
No, that's what he actually got paid just for signing a 10-album deal with CBS or whoever it was.
All right. Good on him.
Anyway. Sorry.
You're right.
I've been having a cough. When Hannah visited 2 weeks ago now, she came with a cough and a sore throat, and she's left it with me, and it's been killing me.
Oh dear, that's dangerous when the southern flus enter the northern hemisphere.
I don't know if Darlin counts as southern.
It's more southern than you.
Anyway, around about 9 p.m., something appears in the sky, and they later described it as very large, diamond-shaped, dark, and silent. And here's
9 p.m. is 9 o'clock in the evening.
Yes.
Well, that photograph I showed you was nothing to do with the evening. Oh, well, maybe it was. What time of the year?
Summertime?
Yeah, you're right. It could have been
August,
summertime.
1990.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it could have been then. I accept.
Now, here's the important bit. It wasn't streaking across the sky like a meteor. It wasn't even blinking like a plane. It was hovering. And according to their account, the object remained visible for several minutes. It was long enough to panic, recover from the panic, remember that they owned a camera, take the photographs, and then panic again.
Hang on a second, that's a bit dodgy. So 1990, this is before smartphones.
Yes.
So they happened to be carrying a camera.
Did you never go on a hike with a camera?
Actually, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Especially if you were going to take photographs of your best friend.
Are you going to cover the pilot's version of this, of the plane scene in the background?
Can we just stick to my story?
Well, my story is far more interesting.
At some point during this encounter, a Harrier jump jet appears in the sky nearby.
Yeah.
A very real, very British military aircraft, famous for its vertical takeoff abilities and loud, aggressive vibes. And the jet circles this object, and then the object shoots vertically upward and disappears. No sonic boom, no explosion, just gone. Which is honestly quite rude, if you ask me. Now, one of the men managed to take 6 photographs using a camera with a colour slide film. Only one image survives today, and that single frame would become one of the most controversial UFO photographs ever taken.
Why?
I will tell you. Let's describe what the image actually shows because it matters. So in the foreground, you've got a wooden fence, a hillside, trees.
Is that more money?
I don't know, maybe. It's sending me monies. Ooh. Oh no, it's my Teresa. She's sending me her Wordle. Ooh, she made it. 5 out of 6. Good girl. In the foreground, you've got a wooden fence, a hillside, and some trees. Very Scottish, very real, and very grounding. In the sky, you have a large diamond-shaped object appearing solid with sharp edges, no visible means of propulsion, no wings, no exhaust, no lights, and nearby, a Harrier jet banking slightly, giving a sense of scale. And this is key. That jet is not small, which means that the object is large, uncomfortably large. This isn't a blurry dot. This could be anything if you just squint right. It looks there, and that's the problem. Now, here's where the story takes a very British turn. The photographers don't run to the press screaming aliens. They don't sell the image to tabloids. They don't start a speaking tour. Instead, they do something extremely polite and extremely suspicious in hindsight. They report it to the authorities. specifically the Royal Air Force and eventually the Ministry of Defence, which, if you think about it, is either really responsible or the first step in making sure that your name disappears from public history forever. So the film is handed over, and the MOD takes the matter seriously enough to create an official file, consult aviation experts, consult intelligence analysts, and loop in the RAF. And from that moment on, the photographers, effectively vanish from the story. To this day, their names are not publicly confirmed, their whereabouts are unknown, and their account is only known through official documents, which is a little bit unsettling. You never even picked up on the fact that I never gave a name to our two explorers.
I didn't want to say anything.
Now, you might expect the MOD to laugh this off, but they don't. Internal documents, later declassified, showed that officials considered several explanations. Foreign aircraft, experimental technology, optical illusion, misidentification, and of course, it was all a hoax. And yet none of these explanations stick cleanly, because the photo is analysed and experts struggle with the object's geometry, its apparent size, the lack of propulsion, and the interaction with the Harrier. One MOD memo famously states that the image shows an object of unknown origin, which is bureaucratic speak for, we have absolutely no idea what this thing is, and we would very much like to pretend we do. Eventually,
have you interviewed the pilot for this story?
Yes. Here we go.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
Eventually, one explanation rises to the top, and not because it's convincing, but because it's comfortable. And the idea is this: the object is a top secret American stealth aircraft, possibly being tested over the UK. And candidates for this are often mentioned: the TR-38, experimental stealth platforms, or hypersonic prototypes. But this theory has a few problems. First, the shape doesn't match any confirmed stealth designs. Secondly, why test it in rural Scotland, visible to random hikers, instead of, a secure test range? Third, and this one's big, the MOD explicitly states that no known aircraft, British or American, match the object's appearance or flight behaviour, which leads us to an uncomfortable place. Because when the government rules out secret aircraft, that usually means one of two things. Either they genuinely don't know, or they know and they genuinely don't want to tell you. And neither of those options is very comforting. In 1990, the Calvine photograph is classified and it vanishes into the MOD's files. And that for over 30 years, the public doesn't see it. People talk about it, rumours circulate, sketches appear, but the image itself becomes almost mythical. The UFO photo you've heard about but have never seen, until 2022. And that's when things got interesting. So for over 3 decades, the Calvine UFO photograph exists in a strange limbo. People know about it, researchers reference it, former MOD employees hint at it, but nobody outside government circles actually sees it. It becomes the UFO equivalent of, my mate's cousin saw it, trust me, it's real, you had to be there. And in UFO research, that's dangerous territory, because the longer something remains unseen, the more it mutates. Sketches circulate, descriptions grow more dramatic, and some versions make the object sound like a floating Todmorden the size of a football pitch. Others describe it as a perfect geometric diamond, sharp enough to offend even mathematicians. the photo becomes less of an image and more of a legend. And legends tend to do one of two things: either collapse under scrutiny or survive long enough to cause real trouble. In the early 2000s, the UK Ministry of Defence started releasing batches of UFO files under public pressure and Freedom of Information Exchanges requests. These files revealed something interesting. The MOD didn't treat UFOs as jokes. They didn't assume aliens, but they did assume potential threats. Unknown aircraft, foreign surveillance, advanced tech, and Calvine keeps coming up again and again. Internal documents refer to aerial object, diamond-shaped, not known to any aircraft, match, photograph retained. But every time researchers ask to see the image itself, the answer is the same: no. Sometimes the excuse is national security, other times the image is missing, which is always comforting to hear from a government archive. Eventually, the MOD states the photograph will remain classified until 2072. Yes, 2072.
What's going on?
Presumably, we'll all be dead.
I will be.
Or too busy uploading our consciousnesses into cloud servers to care. Now, fast forward to the late 2010s. A few people decide that waiting until 2072 is unacceptable and, honestly, fair enough. One of them is David Clarke, a British academic and investigative journalist who has spent years digging through UFO archives with the enthusiasm of a man who refuses to accept no as a complete sentence. Clarke knows about Calvine, he knows the photograph exists, and he knows that the MOD has it. And he also knows that someone, somewhere, must have handled it. So he does something very old-fashioned. He starts asking people. Former RAF officers, former MOD staff, anyone who might have crossed paths with that file in 1990. And eventually, somebody cracks.
Who was it?
In 2022, 32 years after it was taken, the Calvine photograph is finally revealed to the public. Not through a government release, not through an official statement, but through a retired RAF press officer who had kept himself a copy of the photo all those years at home.
Really? Useful?
Which raises several questions, like, how many classified UFO photographs are currently in other people's attics? And should we be checking charity shops a bit more carefully?
Well, that's where they discovered Lee Miller's photographs.
Yes.
In the attic.
So the image is published, and immediately the internet does what it does best: freeze frame, zoom, argue, and get extremely emotional about pixels. Now, the reaction is intense. Some people are disappointed. Others are stunned. Many are deeply confused because the photo doesn't look like a flying saucer or a classic alien craft or anything from pop culture.
Yes, it does.
It looks wrong.
No, it's the archetypal.
No, the
UFO flying saucer.
The object is stark, angular, featureless, and dark. There's no lights, no windows, and no tentacles.
You wanted tentacles, did you?
And the Harrier jet, which you can see, confirms its scale. The thing is not small, which immediately kills off several common explanations. Birds? Nope. Balloons? Absolutely not. Drones? Not in 1990, and certainly not that size. The photo is unsettling precisely because it's boring. It doesn't scream sci-fi, it whispers engineering, and that makes people nervous.
But surely you can't tell the size of something unless you know the perspective. If the object was closer to the camera than the jet, it's going to appear a lot bigger.
Well, now you're just making stuff up because that's not even science, is it?
Of course it is, you idiot. Perspective.
So, of course, within hours, debunkers arrive And to be clear, debunkers are important. They stop us from blaming aliens every time a bin lid flies away in high winds. And the main debunking theories include a hoax using models. And the idea here is that someone...
Not that type of model, surely.
Well, no, she just got married, didn't she, in Dubai, innit? So the idea here is that someone suspended a small model from fishing wire.
Yeah, I was literally just about to suggest that. Yeah, dangly thing. I've got one.
There is a problem.
Oh, dear.
There's no visible suspension lines. And perspective doesn't behave like a small object close to the camera. Yeah. The Harrier jet placement becomes very hard to fake convincingly in 1990. Also, the witnesses handed the film to the authorities immediately, which isn't exactly known hoaxer behaviour. They didn't have it developed. Sorry. They didn't have it developed themselves. They handed over the film.
I think that's what you would do if you were trying to fake it. Because if you get it past that stage of fakery, then the rest is history. It's believed.
You need to see the results. Surely, if you're perpetrating a hoax, you need to see what you're handing in to be sure that it's going to pass the hoax test.
Oh, I see what you mean. They hadn't even processed the film.
They just handed over the film.
All right.
So the second debunker theory that you're going to support, obviously, is a rock or an object thrown into the air. And
no, I think the fishing tackle with the shape at the end, that's my theory.
Well, this theory disappears or leaves the conversation.
I've never seen a rock looking like that.
Well, also, rocks don't hover. They don't attract military aircraft, and they don't remain airborne long enough for multiple shots. Also, gravity tends to object.
So hang on a second. So just going back to this multiple shot thing.
Yes.
The fellow who had this photograph in his attic, that was one of several. That he only had one of them.
6 shots were taken.
And the other 5 that we haven't seen recently are in the MOD archives.
No, they've disappeared, allegedly.
Oh, really? They all disappeared, did they?
They've never been recovered. Or that's just still hidden. They might be a little bit more damning. So, debunkery 3, a secret aircraft. Some claim it's a US stealth prototype or a radar test vehicle or a lifting body design. But aviation experts point out something crucial. Aircraft, even experimental ones, have control surfaces, intakes, exhausts.
Like wings.
Some kind of visible logic. The Calvine object has none. It looks less like a plane and more like a concept. Then there's the Harrier jet problem. Let's talk about that for a moment. Because
I want to speak to the pilot.
I'm just about to. Because it complicates everything. The jet is real. It's identifiable. Its shape, wings and configuration match known RAF Harriers operating at the time, which means this photo wasn't staged using stock imagery, the jet wasn't added later, and the scene is real. Now ask yourself, why would a military jet be flying near a civilian hiking area at dusk? And why would it appear to be circling or observing an unknown object? The MOD later claimed that the Harrier's presence was coincidental, which is technically possible, but it's also the kind of coincidence that makes statisticians quietly leave the room. Now, one of the strangest aspects of the Calvine case remains unchanged. The witnesses, the photographers, never come forward. Not in 1990, not in 2000, not in 2022. No interviews, no memories, no, actually it was a prank confession. They disappear completely, which is unusual because in most UFO cases, witnesses eventually talk or contradict themselves or they enjoy the attention. Here, there's nothing. And amid the silence, sustained over the decades, it's very hard to fake. You might be wondering, okay, but why does this one photo matter so much? And that's because it sits at the uncomfortable intersection of credible witnesses, military involvement, physical evidence, and official uncertainty. The MOD don't say it's aliens, but they also don't say we know exactly what this is. They say we don't know. And governments don't enjoy saying that. Since its release, the image has undergone digital enhancement, perspective analysis, and photogrammetry attempts. I don't know what a photogrammetry is. Some experts argue that the object could be smaller and closer than assumed.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Oh my God, he's all over the bloody keyboard, that cat.
He's trying to get food, little fucker. Some experts argue that the object could be smaller and closer than assumed, but others argue that the jet scale makes that unlikely. And here's the thing. No analysis conclusively solves it, not one of them. The photo resists certainty. It doesn't collapse into obvious fake, and it doesn't rise into definitive proof. It just sits there unresolved. So now we have the photo finally public, no consensus on what it shows, no confession, no official explanation, and witnesses who remain ghosts. So in the next part of this podcast, which I'm going to do now.
We're up at an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's all right. This won't take very much longer.
So hang on, you said you were going to give the bloody interview with the pilot.
Yeah, that was me lying to you just to shut you up so I could continue with my story. Now, why 1990 matters? If the Calvine photo had been taken in, say, 1973, we'd shrug and file it under peak UFO era alongside lava lamps and questionable mustaches. But 1990 is different because this is a moment in history where the Cold War is collapsing, the Berlin Wall has come down, and the Soviet Union is wobbling like a shopping trolley with one bad will. Militaries around the world are nervous because when global power shifts, two things happen. Old secrets scramble to stay hidden, and new technologies quietly get tested. And crucially, people start looking up. And the UK in 1990 isn't just tea and rain. It's a NATO ally, a strategic staging area, home to US military cooperation, and filled with RAF bases that don't like being talked about. Scotland in particular is interesting. Large stretches of it are sparsely populated, used for low-flying military exercises, and ideal for testing things that you don't really want a lot of people to see. So when people suggest Calvine could be linked to secret military projects, they're not being ridiculous. They're being historically accurate. The problem is, the object doesn't behave like anything that we know was flying. By 1990, stealth aircraft are no longer theoretical. The F-117 Nighthawk had been operational for years. The B-2 Spirit is just on the horizon. Both are angular, both are black, both look like geometry, having an argument with aerodynamics. So naturally, people say it's a stealth. Except stealth aircraft still need runways, still need engines, exhausts, and wings that behave like wings. The Calvine object doesn't display any of that. It hovers, it moves vertically, and it leaves without visible propulsion. Even the Harrier, the king of vertical flight, makes a lot of noise doing it. The Calvine object does not, which is awkward. Oh, damn, that's painful. Calvine isn't alone. Around the late 1980s and early 1990s, there's a noticeable increase in reports of triangular craft, silent objects, unusual manoeuvres, not just in the UK, but in Belgium, France, and the US. The Belgian UFO wave features large triangular craft, military jets failing to intercept them, radar confirmation, and government acknowledgement. And no, Belgium didn't suddenly become an alien hotspot. What it did become was a NATO airspace during a period of extreme military transition. And so patterns emerge. Here's something important. The British government did not study UFOs because they were worried about aliens. They studied them because they were worried about airspace violations. Every unexplained object raised one terrifying possibility. What if it's not one of ours? If the Calvine object was Soviet or Chinese or something unknown, that would be a massive problem, which explains why the MOD kept the photo. Not to hide the aliens, but to hide their uncertainty. One of the most fascinating details in the Calvine file is the language used. It's not hoax or misidentification or explained phenomenon, but unidentified aerial object of unknown origin. And the phrasing matters because it means it wasn't dismissed, it wasn't resolved, and it wasn't understood. In intelligence terms, that's a loose end. And a loose end makes a government very itchy. So let's talk about why this photo messes with people so much. It's not very dramatic, it's not flashy, and it's not cinematic, it's sterile. And that's exactly what makes it uncomfortable. There's no emotional cue telling your brain what to feel. So your mind starts asking, is it close or far? Is it big or small? Is it solid or is it even real? And the image doesn't help. It just sits there silently judging you, like my cats. Since 2017, governments, particularly in the US, have become more open about UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, which are objects observed with advanced sensors, capabilities beyond known aircraft, and no definitive origin identified. And suddenly, Calvine doesn't sound so weird anymore, it sounds familiar, because it's hovering, it's silent, and it has rapid vertical movement. Same playbook. But what Calvine is not, let's be clear, it's not proof of extraterrestrial life, it's not a confirmed alien spacecraft, and it's definitely not a solved case. But it is a documented military mystery, a genuine unknown, and a photograph that resisted 30 years of explanation. And in a field full of nonsense, that's rare. So we have to return to the witnesses, 2 men. No public benefit, no attention, no follow-up. They gave the film away and disappeared, which suggests one of 2 things. They were told not to talk, or they decided not to talk. Either way, it's not the behaviour of pranksters. I would add a third thing, they were disappeared.
I would add a third thing, the pilot.
So now we've added historical context, military paranoia, international patterns, and modern disclosure trends. If it wasn't a hoax, then what could it have been? And I think.
So hang on a second. Is there a statute of limitations for secrets? When do the files get released?
They decide on a case-to-case basis, don't they? Which is why somebody firstly said 2072.
I want to see it. I want to see the report from the pilot.
Well, at this point in the story, everybody asks the same thing. If it's not aliens, what the hell is it? Which sounds like a reasonable, sensible question. Unfortunately, Calvine is not a reasonable or sensible case, because every explanation you can offer ends up demanding that you swallow something equally strange, just with a different label on it. So, humans lying to other humans is familiar. Aliens violating Scottish airspace is less so. So could Calvine be a hoax? But to make this work, several things have to be true. 2 random hikers coordinated an elaborate fake. They used a convincing physical model. They composited it perfectly with a real military jet. They handed the evidence to the authorities. They gained nothing, and they stayed silent for over 30 years. Now, that's not impossible. We all know about the moon landings.
They're going back to the moon this week.
Oh, listen, let's not go there because we will get diverted. Have you noticed how deathly silent it's gone about this latest moon shot?
Well, only because no one's interested. They're going to go. They're not landing on the moon. They're just going round it.
Well, they're not. But you know, the thing is, I think isn't it the Scientologists who've got a fleet of spacecraft hidden behind the moon, waiting to take them all away? And that's going to be a bit of a fucking traffic hazard. If suddenly the Orion spaceship goes hurtling around the moon into basically a traffic jam of Ron Hubbard's ships,
exactly,
lined up waiting to pick up Tom Booze and all his mates.
Good old Ronnie.
Anyway, but it's not impossible, but it is weirdly disciplined for a hoax. Hoaxes usually unravel because somebody somewhere wants credit, somebody always talks, or somebody slips up. But Calvine does none of that. If this was a prank, it was the most commitment-heavy prank in British history since the moon landings. And frankly, that level of follow-through deserves a medal. Option 2 is misidentification, which is also another comforting idea because the human brain is great at many things. Correctly interpreting unfamiliar aerial objects under stress is not one of them. So maybe it was a reflection or a natural phenomenon, atmospheric weirdness or something ordinary made strange. The problem is the photograph. Misidentification explains testimony, but it doesn't explain geometry. The object has very clean edges, consistent shape, and solid appearance. Natural phenomena are chaotic. This thing looks like it was designed in a CAD program. Nature doesn't usually do that unless it's really very angry. Option 3. Let's assume for a moment that Britain secretly developed a hovering, silent, diamond-shaped craft in 1990. That would mean a technological leap beyond public aviation. A project never acknowledged, no leaks, no whistleblowers, no derivatives showing up later, which is optimistic. Britain struggles to keep biscuits this secret. Keeping revolutionary aerospace technology quiet for 30 plus years would be a first. And why would you test it where hikers can see it? That's not how classified projects behave. They're very shy normally. Now, option 4 would be a secret American technology. And this is a bit more plausible because the US does test things secretly, sometimes very secretly, and sometimes over Allied airspace. But again, we hit problems. Even advanced US experimental craft leave thermal signatures, make noise, and have aerodynamic logic, whereas the Calvine object doesn't. And if it was American, the MOD would almost certainly have been quietly informed. Instead, internal documents show confusion, not recognition. This is not how allies react to shared secrets. And this is where things get awkward. Option 5, something unknown, because unknown feels like a cop-out. It's lazy, it feels like giving up, but sometimes it's the most honest answer. The Calvine object fits a category that governments hate. It's not identified, it's not explained, it's not repeatable, and it's not dismissible. In intelligence terms, that's a nightmare because you can't plan around it, you can't defend against it, and you definitely can't explain it at a press conference. So the aliens, let's address it. Extraterrestrial hypotheses. Is Calvine proof of alien visitation? No. Is it evidence of something unexplained operating in our airspace? Very possibly. And those are two very different claims. You don't have to believe in little green men to accept that something was seen, something was photographed, and something wasn't understood. But that alone is enough to make people uncomfortable. And governments hate UFOs not because of what they are, they're scary because of what they represent, which is gaps in knowledge, a lack of control, and limits of authority. Governments like problems they can solve. UFOs refuse to cooperate. Calvine didn't fit into any box. So it was filed, buried, and hoped to be forgotten, which almost worked. But here's a thought. Maybe the Calvine photograph isn't important because of what it shows. Maybe it's important because of how we react to it. Some people need it to be fake. Some people need it to be alien. Some people get genuinely angry at the idea of ambiguity. The image becomes a psychological Rorschach test. What you see in it says more about you than the object. So here's the least fun option of all. What if it wasn't unique, it wasn't important, and it wasn't even special? What if it was just one of many unexplained things that pass briefly into human awareness and then leave? Not invaders, not observers, just phenomena that we don't yet understand. The idea is deeply unsatisfying because there's no villain, no revelation, no ending, just mystery. So now we're left with a choice. We can force an explanation, pick a side and declare victory, or we can accept something harder, that sometimes, even with photographs, witnesses and military attention, we just don't get answers. And that finally brings us to the end of this episode of UK Alien Visitations.
I don't like not getting the answer bit. We've got to get the answers. At least look for them.
Well,
I think I'm going to write to the RAF and ask for a transcript of the communication between the pilot and air traffic control.
Well, the impulse of tell me what it was is completely natural. Humans are storytelling creatures. We crave beginnings, middles, and endings, and we like our mysteries wrapped up with a bow, and preferably with the label solved on them. The Calvine photograph doesn't care much for your narrative needs. It doesn't resolve, confess, or age into irrelevance. It just persists. And that might be its most important quality. Most UFO cases fade simply because witnesses contradict themselves, evidence degrades, or explanations improve. But Calvine hasn't done any of that. The photo still looks the same, documents still say unknown, and witnesses are still silent. There's no new information which has emerged to cleanly close the case, which means Calvine exists in a rare category, a modern mystery that survived modern scrutiny, and that's unusual. Photographs are supposed to clarify reality, and this one does the opposite. The Calvine image anchors the event in the real world while refusing to explain it. It says this happened, but not what this is what it means. And we're very bad at living with that distinction. UFOs are not primarily about aliens. They're about observation limits, information gaps, and how institutions manage uncertainty. The MOD didn't panic. They didn't announce first contact, and they didn't spin a dramatic cover story. They quietly admitted, internally albeit, that they didn't know, and then they locked the drawer. That's not conspiracy, that's bureaucracy encountering the unknown. So, two men on a walk on a quiet Scottish evening. They see something they can't explain, they document it, they report it, and then they step away from the story entirely. No fame, no money, no follow-up. And whatever you think the object was, alien, experimental, unknown, the witnesses behaved exactly how you'd hope ordinary people would behave when confronted with something extraordinary. They didn't turn it into a circus. We did.
Interesting. I'd never heard of it. How could I live in such a vacuum of ignorance in terms of UFOs?
If you look back over our 200 and nearly 30 episodes, your bottle of ignorance expands far more than simply UFOs.
Oh dear, you're right, actually. You're
anyway,
right.
That's the end of this glorious episode. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, that was you certainly got your money's worth today, an hour and a half's worth, for God's sake. I
know. And when you see the trailer for this blockbuster episode, you're going to think, why don't I just go to the Patreon at www.patreon.com/Strange Stuff Podcast and give these guys some money for the work they put into this bloody podcast? It's
You're amazing. Absolutely right.
Anyway.
Oh, well done.
Don't forget, you can like and subscribe at Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram. I haven't logged in there for a long, long time. I'm going to get back into it now that I'm going to start promoting our episodes with my newfound friends.
Absolutely.
And, we hope to see you same time, same place. Next week with a completely different subject and possibly a new co-host. So have yourself a strange week.
That sounds a bit threatening.
Yeah, you're being replaced. That's what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
In case that went. So, have yourselves a great week, and we will see you same time, same place. Bye for now.
Cheerio.